Welcome to Cinema 5D on the Go. Moving conversations about moving images with filmmakers and industry leaders. Brought to you by Hedge for Mac, Rode Microphones, G Technology, and Zachtle, in association with Ford.
But I mean, we've come a long way since then. It's like 2000. When did the 5D 2008. That's also when when Cinema 5D was started, our website.
Which, I remember that actually.
Yeah. Hence the name.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah. And it's we've come a long way. But I mean, a lot of cameras have evolved a lot in terms of video technology. I mean, for Canon, this 5D2 was a little bit of an accident that they didn't plan.
Yeah. The story behind this is incredible.
Yeah, it's like the photo division made that function and the video guys didn't even know about it.
Yeah. Hence the 30.
But now, I mean, they have created this whole cinema line. I love the C300. I still have one. But they kind of have been slacking a little bit, to be honest, with video functionality in their DSLRs now. I mean, you can do 4K, but you still don't have peaking. You still don't have zebras. You still don't have, all these things that other manufacturers have now in their small interchangeable lens or cameras or DSLR cameras. I mean, that's one problem that a lot of people have who grew up with Canon like me. And I want Canon to bring out that camera because I am using professional cameras, but I'm also using these small cameras. And I love the Canon color, I love the color science and all that. But it's just so hard,
I wonder who is the main target for Canon for this, because I didn't understand a word what you were saying.
No, the thing is, well, don't forget,
that's the reason.
There are, people close to Canon have told me that about 50% or 60% of all the buyers of the 5D Mark II did not predominantly buy it for photography, which is why I don't understand. Why don't you just build on that? You cannot convince everybody to move into much more expensive cameras, which only do video.
Yeah, but
there's two different things. Sony, for example, didn't have a, it looks like they're cannibalizing their own market because they put so many video functions in their small cameras, but while still having a very high-end lineup as well. And it's just tough,
Well, but don't you think that those video people, what you are saying, bought the 5D Mark II because of video, aren't going full 9 yards into video, but just wanted to do video and not, aren't you especially
yes,
a tech,
of course,
techie
but you
guy.
Should build, I mean, if you
just
have
know
a
everything
product
about the whole thing, but creating video and being for commercial and being totally 100% into what you're doing instead of just creating it, just do it. Doesn't matter you can put amazing images with this.
Yeah, but you know how it is. I mean, it's now really, I mean, having a proper codec in these cameras, like motion JPEG is a very, very old codec. It's not very professional, and it creates a lot of unnecessary data without having better quality.
I totally get that.
So that's but they have the codec. They just don't put it in that camera, and that's frustrating for me because it's it seems like they developed the cinema line and it's like everything was going in the right direction. And I love these cameras; they're beautiful cameras. And then after they were done with those, they kind of divided the division, the photo people again, and just kept on doing. But the industry is changing. There's a lot of people who demand cameras that do both things in a very good way.
That will drive change, as other manufacturers do that. Canon will have to do the same thing too. Yeah. But it's like going from a histogram to a waveform. It's you having to make those switches. I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we in this latest film used the 1DX Mark II quite a lot. Very, very easy, to pick up and just. In fact, we needed some shots around over the Aston Martin, actually around the factory where it's built. Yeah. And we did all of that with 1DX Mark II.
And, it's a beautiful camera. It's a great
and what
video
amazed
me
about it was that I could just touch the you know, the screen on the back and follow focus.
Oh,
and we
love
use
that
that.
feature.
You would like
feature.
that, and we
This
use
is-
that a lot.
insane.
Yeah.
It's insane,
It's a kind of a
working
bit of
very
a
well.
revolution that
And to be honest,
capability.
that's why I'm not really. I can totally understand you, and I get your point because what you're saying about peaking and stuff like that. But on the other hand, this autofocus, for example, I can
amazing.
really. I think that was a really lot of work behind that.
That is
And it's
beautiful.
really-
That's a great feature.
When I
actually.
tried it, I was like, "Oh my God, how did you do that?"
just love it.
And as well, the dual pixel RAW with that ability to change your focus point on a photo in post.
Yeah.
And that's what when I was thinking, like, I can totally understand you guys, but on the other hand, they were really investing a lot of work into these features, and they are more important to me. And I think like you cannot have it all. You cannot have it all, I think.
I totally agree that, I mean, this is an amazing feature, and it's certainly
Yeah.
the best autofocus I've ever seen from any camera for video.
That's good
It's
to know.
absolutely amazing. No, it really is. I visited Philip in England, Philip Bloom, and he's about to publish a review, which I worked on with him a little bit, where he tested the autofocus on all these cameras, and the 1DX2 was the best one, and right after that is the Sony A7R Mark II, which also has a very good autofocus. But the 1DX2 is definitely the best one in terms of video. The only
the same
frustrating
as the
thing
5D?
is,
It's the same, yeah.
Okay.
yeah, the only frustrating thing is you have all these, they have this peaking zebras.
Yeah.
It's not wizardry. They
Yeah.
have this. Just put it in, and it's not like the people who buy these cameras would instead buy a C300. No, they
that's
buy
true.
a Sony camera because they have these functions, and I know that because I give a lot of camera workshops, and I started giving workshops when the 5D2 came out, and after that the 550D or T2i as it's called in the US, and like everybody had these cameras. Everybody had Canon cameras. Everybody was starting out, like video people were starting out, and then suddenly investing a lot of money into Canon glass. And now at the workshops, I'm not kidding. That's the last workshop, like the last two workshops I gave, probably 70 or 80% have now gone into the Sony A7S.
Okay.
With adapter of the
With
Canon
they
lenses.
just use an adapter because
Yeah.
you can use all the EF glass on
Yeah.
these cameras because they have so many more video features. They are incredible in low light. All these
Image
things. So
stabilization.
Canon is, it's not like these people, because a lot of these people are semi-professionals sometimes. So they really don't. They cannot justify the expense of a C100, C300 Mark II, which are great cameras, but they are too much for them. But they want these additional video features like professional audio modules and stuff like that. So they just change and they jump ship because it's possible with the EF mount to adapt it to E mount, which is not possible the other way around.
Yeah.
So it's really like a Trojan horse for Sony to get into this market.
We'll see what happens in long term, because, as you said, maybe they are starting to cannibalize their own markets. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know, and I don't care too much. For me, it's really it's the overall workflow and the reliability of these cameras that is worth a lot to me. And I don't know. I don't own any Sony stuff, so I can't really say from first hand. I just hear a lot of professional response. They are really missing a kind of professional service as well from Sony, and that's why I really stick to Canon, because I really trust that stuff, and I trust the company. If there is a problem, I know who to call, and I'm gonna get a solution.
Well, I'm
And
confident that at some point they will get it now, because
Yeah, of
especially
course.
now that
I think they are just about to build that customer client support, whatever.
I think, but also Canon, I hope that Canon realizes that they're losing market share in this lower end market, which everybody wants to stay with them, but they're making it really, really hard in terms of video functionality in these cameras. And it's just because, of course, they're predominantly photo cameras, but the video function has to be taken seriously, because it's just, the 5D created this market.
Yeah, that's true.
And it, everybody wants to stay with Canon really, but now also Panasonic with the GH5, And Olympus introduced a great video camera. They came out of nowhere with this 4K camera with the most insane image stabilization as I've ever seen. I don't know if you tried it.
On your website, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Really
it's like a gimbal. You have
Really?
you can move the camera like this and it stays steady. It really is like a gimbal. And so everybody's coming out with these cameras. So I hope that this will, because competition is good, of course. And
Absolutely.
Well, that image stabilization thing is actually was something what I was looking into for the 5D Mark IV. If there's some kind of image stabilization in the camera, because all the fixed prime lenses don't have it, and I'm shooting a lot out of my hand because on the run at the wedding it's going quick, and switching between photos and images. I'm not working
And
with
Snapchat.
I'm not working with a rig. The maximum thing I use is a tripod.
Yeah, it would be weird to do a rig on the Snapchat thing.
Yeah. And the thing is, I'm taking portrait images, and I have to switch to a landscape movie format. So there's no time between that to mount anything or go to a tripod or whatever. So I need to be quick. And I was thinking about doing this with an Olympus or a Sony or whatever. But on the other hand, I have a different camera for images then. And that's what I don't want, because I love the 5D imagery and I love it to shoot. I think the 5D Mark III was probably, because now it's the Mark IV, but was the best wedding camera out there for everything. I love all the features.
For photography, I still prefer the Canon DSLRs.
Yeah.
I mean, because I also like the lineup of their lenses is it's just unmatched.
Yeah. I mean, all the features what we have, like there's a marketing feature in there. A lot of people don't even know. We use this rate button. It's literally a marketing feature, because we rate great images over the day. We put them on Lightroom. We have a selection of 50 images. I put some presets on there. I move them to the iPad, and I show at dinner at 8 o'clock at dinner at the main course. They see 30 images of that day. And show that to 100 guests, and you're sold out on that wedding.
You're the rock star.
Do you ever film that? Do you film that as well? That process when you're showing, because that must be really emotive.
When they see it.
When they see that
I
of
snap
the day,
it, actually.
because that's almost like you creating a setting to record. Because I love. Anything that creates emotion.
You
that's
see
such
tears,
a
you get
thing.
hugs. They run from one table to the next to show the images
well?
around. Actually, there are no tips at wedding photography. Not at least, I've never. I think I got $20 10 years ago or something like that. But that was my first tip, and I get well paid.
That's good.
That's good.
Well, that's one of the other things, right? Photography is under so much pressure because everybody is calling themselves a photographer now.
Yeah.
So I think it's what you mentioned earlier. It's just very, very good to have your style.
Filmmaking's very good for that, because filmmaking has so many. It's like as a director, or if you make a film, it's like a recipe. You have. I mean, in our Aston Martin Hackett film, we had a really great guy, Max Perman, who wrote the music for that, and I like to start with the music and then go to the edit, knowing what the track's going to be. And for our film, our inspiration was the original Steve McQueen Thomas Crown affair, because I wanted to get a split screen into it that was done back in the 60s, and so that there was this great sort of jazz feeling to that. And so we briefed Max about modern jazz, and in our original treatment it talked about the sound of the modern jazz and the piano, and then eventually that was great, and he sent me a track, and it was just an afterthought, and it was just great, and he just nearly didn't send me that file. And then he went and recorded it in a studio. We got the grand piano and the drums, and you have to put your headphones on and you listen to that, and it takes the film to a whole new level. But my point is that all these elements, the way you shoot it, the fact maybe for us, we shoot in natural light, the idea, the misdirection, all of those things, they're very, very important. I think the point really is that. But filmmaking enables you to. There's so many variables. It enables you to create a point of difference. So and commercially that means that hopefully people will like what you do, and it would be hard to copy. Yeah. That's the thing, and all these guys here, everybody here, they got something, that people want, and that's so important.
It's true. I think it's not only photography. I think it's also filmmaking that is a little bit under pressure because every photographer is starting to call himself a filmmaker now. And so you got the same problem, and we are the ones bringing you in trouble. But I think we've been talking about that yesterday. I think there's a big difference between buying a camera, calling yourself a photographer or filmmaker, and really doing it for years and walking through all these bad things that will appear in your life, in your daily business. And if you make it or not, it depends on how long you do it and how hard you can do it. And
I agree. And it's good to have competition, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there's the creative part and there's the business part.
Yeah.
A lot of creative people aren't business people, so that's the long run is you need to be both.
And there's a lot of average people being good businessmen who do more jobs than very talented artists.
That's the world, you know.
Yeah,
that's life. Isn't
yeah, that's
it?
life.
You know,
you have to be jack of all trades, but you
Yeah.
somehow, and you have to learn the business part as well. So picking up a camera and calling yourself a photographer because your grandma said you're doing beautiful pictures won't work on long terms.
Well, even if you do beautiful pictures, that's just half of the story.
Yeah, it's just 50% at most.
Thank you guys, that was very entertaining. We have arrived after our long drive at Photokina. Your hotel is really far away.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Just thinking that.
Well, thanks, and hopefully we'll do that again. Thanks for watching Cinema 5D on the go. Tune in for one of our next episode of me driving around somewhere with people.
Next time you'll be singing.
Oh no. Thank you guys.